Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I picked up a book to accompany my recent LA Noire videos. Browsing the website of one of my favorite book publishing companies, I found a book about the real Los Angeles. When I was previewing the pictures, it really reminded me of the game. They did a really good job on the game, and I became really interested to learn about the real LA Noire, and thought this book would make a good accompanying video. As you can see, the book is titled Dark City, The Real Los Angeles Noire. Flipping through it earlier, I had no idea how bad some things were even back then. And as time goes on, I realize certain parts of California, Los Angeles and Hollywood in particular, have just been more of an image of glamour, trying to cover up a cesspool of debauchery and degeneracy. Hollywood actors, directors, and producers in particular are not people to listen to or look up to or admire. I realize that now. They're just clowns on screen, meant to entertain. And if they're pushing some ridiculous message or agenda, probably best to just ignore them because they're bonkers and don't even live on this planet. Aside from maybe Keanu Reeves and a small handful of others, their entire lives are based on pretending after all. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy film and can still admire the work of the actors and directors, but as people, forget about it. They are part of that corrupt system, which pretty much means they've sold their souls. But where was I now? Dark City, yes. Just a warning, there are some graphic images, but I'll cover them up, so we should be good. So we've got an introduction and 6 chapters. So I'll read a little bit of the intro, and then we'll browse a few pages of each of the 6 chapters. Los Angeles. Its name alone has stirred visions of romance and adventure. Hollywood, sunshine, beaches, and endless rows of orange trees. This glowing and glossy image, there's that word again, image, that was offered to the world by city boosters in the Chamber of Commerce, was produced in an endless cycle, the slick promotional propaganda spewing forth for over a century. Meanwhile, just below the surface of the public relations campaign lurked another side of the city of Los Angeles. The underbelly of Los Angeles was festering like oranges rotting in the perpetual sun. Primary to the city's image were its commercial and newspaper photographers, who in the years that framed its intense development captured a precise portrait of a city in the process of inventing itself. Photographs from the 1920s through the 50s show a changing landscape of altered streets, leveled hills, and buildings constructed and then eliminated to accommodate even more change. The photos also detail the nightclubs and bars, the buried bodies, the lifeless forms on corner slabs, Hollywood celebrities, politicians, boulevard degenerates, and self-proclaimed saviors of the soul. These images expose both the bright and the dark sides of a city absorbed in the present and looking toward the future. They document a city in constant change, rapidly evolving from adobe squalor to the wonder city of the West. The site of an infamous Chinatown massacre was known as Noire Alley, 1886. Federal authorities dispose of 1,000 gallons of Jamaican ginger extract seized from a Los Angeles warehouse during an investigation of Ginger Jake alcohol poisoning, 1931. Harry Raymond, a former cop investigating City Hall corruption, was being targeted by fellow officers when he got car bombed in the driveway of his home, 1938. Developments such as Lakewood altered Southern California's landscape, 1949. The film colony loved its reefer. Detectives examine a stash of marijuana, 1945. A newcomer stands on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, 1938. Chapter 1, Down These Mean Streets. The Greyhound bus depot at 560 South Los Angeles Street was a transit point for those newly arrived in paradise or ready to escape it, 1939. $10-cent movie theaters ran 24 hours a day, providing Skid Row residents around Main Street with entertainment and a place to sleep. Behind even the most innocent-looking streets lurked a breeding ground for cheap thrills and illicit goods. 1938. An errant electrical plug sparked the spectacular auto show fire. Over $1 million in new automobiles were destroyed when 4 tents burst into flames at Washington and Hill Streets, 1929. Once the domain of the city's rich, Bunker Hill had become a warren of cheap rooming houses, the perfect place for hoods and criminals to escape to. 1936. City officials examined the slum conditions of Bunker Hill. 1938. Burt Lancaster gets ready to film a scene for Crisscross in front of a Bunker Hill flophouse, 1949. Ground zero for the black community. Hotel Dunbar was the social hub of Central Avenue and the adjacent jazz scene, 1935. This book also contains quite a few reproductions of magazines of the time. Here we see True Detective. Mile-high cones and jumbo malts. Curry's ice cream store in Beverly Hills opens with a film-style premiere. 1936. Tattoo parlors were a stock-in-trade business for Main Street, the city's premier Sinister Avenue. 1943. Living on the fault line. The Long Beach earthquake resulted in a series of collapsed buildings. 1933. Cops patrol Little Tokyo, seeking to calm nerves while keeping an eye out for suspicious activity the day Pearl Harbor was attacked, December 7th, 1941. Japanese-American business owners were forced to close their Little Tokyo shops prior to being sent to internment camps, 1942. Chapter 2. Murder and Mayhem. A cop and onlookers stare through the bullet-riddled window of a crime scene, 1953. A corpse lies in the bed of the L.A. River in a bleak noir tableau, 1955. Enraged when he discovered his wife kneeling under the piano between his friend's legs, Paul Wright shot and killed them both in a white flame of wrath. In spite of a repugnant act, Wright's lawyer used an insanity plea to get him off the hook. A lunacy commission later declared him sane, and the white flame murderer went free. 1937. A secluded road and a rubber hose complete a suicide scene. 1951. A bartender bites the dust in a Hollywood robbery gone awry. 1940. The remains of a murder victim unearthed from their hiding place, 1931. In one of the city's numerous vacant lots, the victims of a murder-suicide pact chose death together, 1934. Concealed in a trunk, an anonymous woman is the victim of a violent city, 1933. A murder victim suspended in a morbid composition is found hanging in a closet, 1931. Wrapped in a sinister shroud, the victim of a hatchet murder reposes in bed minus one key body part. 1940. A cigar-chomping detective examines the murder weapon. Leroy Drake, a 19-year-old honor student, poisoned the coffee of his uncle and aunt, Henry and Nellie Steinheer, to inherit their insurance money. 1935. A crowd gathers as the car containing Leroy Drake's uncle and aunt is pulled from the LA harbor. Drake disposed of the bodies by driving them off the pier. The victim of a mad butcher, a sex and torture victim reveals her aggressor's handiwork. 1938. A breezy co-ed shows off her wounds from an assailant. 1942. Destroying confiscated weapons ensures they won't be used again. 1932. James Two Gun Davis was the emblem of LA police corruption. 1937. Chapter 3, Glamourland. Swinging round town. Hollywood locals congregate at a raucous nightclub for music and booze. 1943. Hollywood's famous door at the lower end of Vine Street was the quintessential Roadhouse, a well-known celebrity hangout where stars and other notables carved their names into the entry door. 1937. The King's nightclub on the Sunset Strip had a shady pedigree. Word on the street was that it had suspicious backers, practically a given for many of LA's popular night spots. 1935. Celebrities and gangsters mingled at the exclusive Clover Club on Sunset Boulevard. 1937. Vice Squad detectives display $15,000 worth of confiscated gambling equipment after a pre-dawn Easter blitzkrieg at the Clover Club. The raid, with 300 celebrities in attendance, also turned up $6,942 in cash. 1940. Bouncer Cairo Mary ejects a customer at a notorious waterfront dive. Shanghai Reds, Beacon and 5th Streets, San Pedro, 1953. The Bamba Club, a seedy yet popular destination for slumming thrill seekers, was a good place to score more than just dames and beer. Located in the Mexican section of downtown, its dark atmosphere was incorporated into the film Crisscross, 1947. NBC Studios, a streamlined wonder, was in the center of Hollywood at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Vine Street, 1938. A hipster heaven, Central Avenue and 42nd Street was home to a cluster of jazz clubs and was the de facto center of LA's black community. 1940. Patrons pack into Club Alabama, one of the larger Central Avenue clubs. 1944. Chapter 4. Kooks, Crackpots, and Salvation. Acolytes of Amy Semple McPherson's Foursquare Church raised their arms in praise and hallelujah at a Holy Ghost service. 1942. Amy Semple, an evangelist, priest, or priestess, I should say. Pet cemeteries and the rituals of death fascinated visitors and writers alike who found these types of establishments representative of the region's bizarre culture. 1935. A muscle builder displays his pulchritude at an early incarnation of Muscle Beach in Santa Monica, 1927. Torturous walkathon derbies, sometimes held in dedicated locations, offered a cheap diversion for Depression-era spectators. 1931. An exhausted couple resists sleep after 1,300 hours of walking. 1930. A walkathon marathon in full swing. 1929. Damn, just walking around in circles for days and days. Damn, it's crazy. Here we see dance contest. Failure to revive a dance partner would result in elimination from the contest. 1928. A 6-day bike marathon prepares to take off. 1933. Lots of self-proclaimed gurus, religious groups, nudist camps, mystics, foreseers, fortune tellers. Completed in 2 years, the world's largest Bible was the work of carpenter Louis Wainai, who used rubber stamps to print its 8,048 pages. 1928. The world's largest Bible was housed at Louis Wainai's Temple of Truth at East 61st Street and Central Avenue. 1928. Publication from the Voice of I Am Church. Surrounded by bags of correspondence, Daddy Rango, mind reader to thousands, traveled the streets of Los Angeles in a customized bus attended by his secretary. 1932. Damn, I think I'd look pretty pissed too if I had to answer all of that mail. gullible patrons flocked to and were fleeced at mysterious and gaudy stage shows that popped up on vacant lots throughout the Southland. 1937. Reverend Fighting Bob Schuler, pastor of the Trinity Methodist Church, was Sister Amy's main competition in the soul-saving business. The Reverend was a tireless fire and brimstone critic of the corrupt political machine that ran L.A. Issuing tracts and publications, he openly condemned public officials and exposed graft. 1929. Kingdom Temple leader Joseph Jeffers and his wife, Zella, rejoice with their followers after being acquitted of committing immoral behavior. The couple liked to perform unnatural acts for church members and preyed upon their followers for money offerings at their church. 1939. Yeah, now those suckers do it on TV. Chapter 5. Headline Crime. Alberta Meadows was found on the roadside where Tiger Woman Clara Phillips bludgeoned her to death. 1922. Clara Phillips, in a jealous rage, smashed the face and body of her husband's paramour with a claw hammer. 1922. Nelson and Louis Winslow posed for a picture several years before they were kidnapped by Gordon Stewart Northcott. 1926. Gordon Stewart Northcott was the homicidal predator and murderer of more than 20 young boys. He kept them in a chicken coop in Winville, outside of Los Angeles, where he abused them before killing them with an axe handle. 1929. Chicken coop where the boys were found. The wrapped torso of 12-year-old Marion Parker awaits processing at the morgue. 1927. William Hickman, age 19, is escorted to court for the murder and dismemberment of 12-year-old Marion Parker. 1928. Winnie Ruth Judd, the trunk murderer, awaits trial for the death of her roommates. 1931. Observing trunks oozing blood, a baggage agent notified police, who discovered the remains of 2 women stuffed inside. Movie theater magnate Alexander Pantages was accused of rape by Eunice Pringle. Found guilty, he appealed the verdict and was acquitted. 1929. Eunice Alice Pringle was thought to be part of a conspiracy involving RKO and Joseph Kennedy to frame Alexander Pantages. 1929. Underworld figures were suspected of Thelma Todd's murder after she was pressured to open a casino at her restaurant and nightclub, Thelma Todd Sidewalk Cafe, 1935. Thelma Todd is examined by Detective Bert Wallace, where she was found slumped over on the seat of her car. 1935. The rattlesnake murderer took out a $10,000 insurance policy on his wife before plying her with alcohol and thrusting her leg into a box of rattlesnakes. 1935. Robert James watches prosecutors demonstrate how he forced his wife's leg into the box of rattlesnakes. 1936. Lovers William Haynes and Jimmy Shields appear at a hearing after a Manhattan Beach mob roughed them up and chased them out of town. 1936. Seated in his car, confessed killer John Rivas reenacts the Red Rose murder for police detectives. 1940. Bristol Barrett, in charge of securing women. Ann Forrester, the Black Widow of LA's prostitution business, and Joan Farrell, Forrester's madam, constituted a notorious prostitution ring. 1940. The rambling Northridge compound at Devonshire and Tampa Streets was the base camp for Ann Forrester's white slave ring. 1940. Elaine Ludlam, 21-year-old bride of 14-year-old Ellsworth Sonny Wisecarver, weeps in court while facing a charge of child stealing. 1944. Police coroners and the press arrive at the vacant lot where the body of Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, was dumped. 1947. Oh. God, poor woman. An attractive Elizabeth Short was said to frequent the dark side of Los Angeles, which may have led to her death. 1945. Beaten and ravaged, the Black Dahlia's corpse reveals the handiwork of a monstrous butcher. 1947. Brutally cut in two and drained of blood, the remains of the Black Dahlia are examined by detectives. Bugsy Siegel invested mob money in the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, which ultimately led to his demise. Opposed Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, dapper and handsome, belies his sadistic and murderous personality. 1940. The man who pretty much made Las Vegas what it is today. Hollywood's most notorious mobster, Bugsy Siegel, lies sprawled on a blood-stained sofa in his girlfriend Virginia Hill's rented Beverly Hills mansion after being whacked by sharpshooters. 1947. Alright, let's move on to the last chapter. Chapter 6, Crime and Corruption. Cockfights, the legacy of a Mexican tradition in the Southland, were popular but illegal in rural parts of the city. 1938. Local punks are caught with a loaf-sized bundle of weed, enough to put them behind bars for a few years. 1954. Agents bust another speakeasy selling illegal alcohol. 1930. Illicit slot machines marked a private bar where protection from authorities was assured. 1938. Operators of an illegal hooch palace attempt to hide their identity in a raid on their business. 1928. Local hoods tried innovative ways to extract money from eager gamblers, in this case, rat roulette. Tango parlors were another form of legalized gambling spawned by underworld figures to bypass the law. These thinly veiled skill games were set up to the house advantage, but come-ons such as free food and spiffy surroundings kept the parlors filled. The Jade Tango Parlor on West Adams Boulevard, 1932. Authorities battle their way into the elaborately furnished casino amid a fusillade of bullets. 1938. Oh, don't worry, that's a strongman act. Slot machines from the gambling ship Lux are given the heave-ho onto a waiting barge for the trip back to the mainland, 1941. Promoter Bill Heflin threw his first drag ball at Dreamland at 4th Street and Central Avenue. This one at the Club Alabama was the 18th ball, 1949. Jailed for deviant behavior, 2 homosexuals await their fate at the hands of police officers. 1948. Pershing Square, downtown, was a favored cruising location for gay men. 1957. Hollywood party girls cover up as deputies question their intentions. Dressed and ready for jail, a couple of Brenda Allen's girls pout and display the wares that got them into trouble. 1948. Okay, and we'll leave it there. And don't forget to like and subscribe, throw me a comment, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.